Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea in 10 with La Libre. We are here talking about the best questions and answers and tips for teachers interested in introducing more proficiency into their classroom, just like you. But you want to do it in a way that saves you time and is all about your teacher's sanity and in a way that is practical. So let's get into it. This question comes from one of you, from the audience members, that has to do with how on earth can I make using the target language easier? We all know that it's really hard to get to that coveted percentage that we are looking for, but more importantly, I feel like my students don't understand me. And that makes it really hard to motivate me to use more target language in class. So today's topic is, in 10 minutes or less, how to use more target language and have students understand you, how to be more comprehensible with this one simple habit that I'm going to show you. And I'm also going to give you a really great tool to get you started. So with this question, I want to, of course, first lay the foundation that whatever you're doing in your classroom is pretty awesome and pretty magical. So if you already have that badass goal of trying to use more target language in your classroom, then you're a hero, especially this time of year where you get into the winter slump. So I wanted to make this as easy for you as possible because using a lot of Spanish, French, Japanese, German, Russian in your classroom can get really exhausting. And one of the things that makes it more difficult is that we want to get right to the meat of what's going on in class. But I would argue that the best way to use more target language in your classroom, and this is the subject of a previous video, is to use it in order to convey the most important pieces of information in your class, like what's for homework? What are you guys doing next? What are the directions for the next lesson? And why would I say that? Because you're probably thinking and like biting your nails right now. But that's the time where I have the hardest time getting students to listen. But this is why. Recently, I was on an office hours call with one of the Practical Proficiency Network members. And this teacher was having a lot of issues with classroom management with sixth graders. And in the same breath, that teacher was also talking about wanting to use more target language. And I suggested, well, what if you tried using more target language in class? I have a feeling that if you did that, that students would probably start hanging off of your every word. The next time that we met during the office hours is an offering that's in the network where students can come and chat with me for a half hour during office hours, quote unquote, for anything that they want to talk about that has to do with this membership that supports them with exactly what we're doing here, but much more in depth and much more support. And guess what happened? After a few weeks, she noticed that issues went down with classroom management. And what happened that once she changed from using pieces of paper in her target language is English, actually, because the L1 is Arabic and French. So instead of writing down the homework assignments every day in Arabic or in French and handing them out to students, she started explaining the homework assignments in English every day and found that students would stop what they were doing, turn around, look at her, listen, and try and figure out what was going on. She also started using more and more pictures and visuals in everyday lessons, handouts, you name it, and started to see some real differences in what was going on every day in class. And I just could not wait to share this with you because I think this is exactly why focusing in on trying to use 5 to 10% more target language in class, it's gonna start solving some of the other problems that you are having in class as well. Why? Because when you're actually using the target language to be the means of communication, students get the message right away. Oh, this is how we do stuff in class. I need to know how to say those really important, crucial phrases. So without further ado, what's the number one habit to help you both be more understood and to help you use more target language in a way that's a lot more easier and practical? Visuals. draw absolutely everything that you can. When there's not an opportunity to draw, can you add pictures to whatever visual you're using that day? And it can be as simple as these two things. You can open up the service called Canva. If you're not familiar with it, it's amazing. It's called canva.com. And there's a whole image library in there where if you're typing in something like, I'm working on something with clothing right now, and if you're saying the word like camisa, and it doesn't sound anything like what students know, which is shirt, then just pull up a picture of a camisa and point to it if you don't want to draw. Or honestly, draw. Students love it when you mess up a drawing. They will laugh their booties off looking at how bad you are at it. But I also have a really easy tool for you. And I'm going to share my screen here so that you can see it. You're going to absolutely love this. Oh, that's my face. You're going to absolutely love this tool for my Spanish teachers. I'm still looking, those of you who teach another target language, but check this out if you are a Spanish teacher. I got this from Margarita Perez Garcia. So thank you to her for finding this for us. It's pictotraductor.com. And just watch what happens. Mira la magia. Okay, so the other day I was looking up New Year's Eve traditions because I'm making a resource for that. And one of the New Year's Eve traditions in Uruguay is something called Batalla de Sidra, en donde los habitantes de Uruguay tiren agua al uno al otro. And it's amazing. So watch this. If you're trying to explain this tradition to others, tira, yeah, agua. Amazing, right? You can type in anything. And instead of having to draw something and for how much time that can take, right? Look at this. You can type in anything and pictures will come up for it. How about this? Mira. Escucha. Amazing, right? So you can type in all kinds of things to, like, let's see what this does. Cosa? Oh, well, yeah, that's the verb. So you'll have to work with it and see what happens, but there's all kinds of things that will come up here that will help you to be more comprehensible to your students and make sure that you're doing it as much as possible using more target language than you normally would. Like if I were you, I would add this website, if you're a Spanish teacher, to your bookmarks and just have this up all of the time. Or for students, like if they have a lot of my students would just have because we were in some of my schools, I was one-to-one. If they have a device, let them have this at their disposal at all times so that if they're trying to figure out what you're saying, they can type it in. It's amazing, right? So those are the two things that I have for you to use. And you know what? While we're here, let's see if we can explore a little bit of canva.com. And we're just going to open like a completely new document here. And check this out when you go into photos, and let's see if you're trying to say something like, if you want to explain like, ¿qué es una toalla? Boom. And you don't have to draw it. And all of that stuff is free because you see this little thing here that shows you what you need to pay for to use. But all of this stuff is free. So it's like a giant whiteboard that you can just put images into instantly. It's amazing. Another thing that you could do with this is you can, of course, type and add things while you're doing it, which is really, really easy. The texto element is right here. So just like you're used to in any other platform, you can just right here. Esta es una toalla. And boom. Like there's using these types of visuals will help you to be understood so much better. And with the ease of putting images to words, you'll be able to get into the habit much more of either drawing or using technology to aid you to pull visuals in whenever you can, because this is the number one thing that students will remember about you as trying to make the language accessible to them. So put it on your radar. Now that is, again, this is free for anybody to use, is canva.com. There's some features that are paid, but you don't need any of those, right? So canva.com is the one resource that I would recommend for this. And the other one is this, pictotraductor.com. So check those out. I think that will make your life a lot easier as you're trying to pull visuals into not just the daily routine of you trying to be more comprehensible, but when you're describing anything and everything, having that easy go-to cue for visuals. If you're not yet in the habit of, and I mean, nobody really even wants to do that all the time because it takes a lot of time drawing everything that you say, or translating it word for word like that eats up too much class time. And you and I both know what happens when too much class time is happening. Too much downtime with the teacher doing things, is that's when students start turning around and and the distractions occur. So the less downtime, the better. So these tools, I think, will help you a lot. That's it for today's question. I hope that this helps to make using target language a lot easier in your classroom and a lot more comprehensible and accessible to students. But it's one simple habit. Every time that you're speaking in front of students, incorporate visuals in any way possible that you can, either with the tech stuff that we went over today or drawing. And, if those aren't really available to you yet in your toolkit, when push comes to shove, just write the meanings of the words underneath it until you start getting used to it. More power to you, more target language in your classroom. And I hope that this was a very practical tip that you can use tomorrow to engage your students and get more target language use in your classroom. Bye for now, and I hope to see you next week at our next class. Adios.